I've always enjoyed mystery games, and another type of mystery game I don't dabble enough in is the good old point-and-click adventure. In today's video we're going to look at an unusual case, mainly because its cover is famous, but a lot of folks haven't seen what the game is like. Today we're going to be checking out The Mystery of the Druids, a game popularised in meme culture because of its cover featuring a druid screaming on it. This game was developer House of Tales' first video game, and was originally announced as The Heirs of the Druids before deciding to settle on The Mystery of the Druids. The game was quite ambitious for its time, advertising numerous locations, interactive scenes, as well as a blend of 2D and 3D graphics. The Mystery of the Druids starts with a cinematic of a group of druids performing a ritual at Stonehenge. This ritual appears to involve a group of infants in which most of the druids shortly disappear. Fast forward to the year 2000 and you play the role of Scotland Yard detective Brent Halligan, who has been assigned to a case to investigate a group of gruesome murders known as the Skeleton Murders, on the account that the remains found have always been skeletons. One of Halligan's co-workers had been originally assigned to the case, but had falsely accused an innocent man who had died in prison, and to make matters worse, another victim has appeared. As Halligan investigates the case, he is joined by anthropologist Dr. Melanie Turner of the Oxford Museum of Anthropology, and by Arthur Blake, a historian specialising in Britannic druids. Can our team solve the murder and uncover the mystery of the druids? Or will they be history? More importantly, is the game any good? Find out in The Good. From a story perspective, the game is quite serviceable for the most part. The game physically included a case file you could read to give a bit of background to the events leading up to the start of the game. If you had purchased the game from GOG, the case file can be downloaded as a digital file you can read, and this sets the scene for the game with details about Detective Lowry's investigation and false accusation leading to him ultimately being taken off the case. This case file is also given to Halligan as an item in the game, though you cannot read it in the game. I also liked the game's setting too. For a lot of the game, Halligan is entrusted with investigating the skeleton murders, which takes him to various places around London, and even to a village in France briefly. Without spoiling too much, despite the game's actual CDs and manual doing it for you, Halligan's investigations will take him to some very unusual places, and I appreciate the game's setting as, let's say, this mystery has quite the past to it. I also quite liked the game's voice acting. Some good work was put into bringing life to Detective Halligan and Melanie Turner.
Chris, I've got something else for you. Could you have a quick look at that too?
The weed? Also from the place where the bones were found, I suppose?
Exactly.
Okay, Brent. And what do you want to know about it?
Have you seen something like this before?
You mean, have I seen grass before? Are you trying to pull my leg?
Just smell it.
The game has a lot of dialogue as well as comments that Halligan or Turner will make when they investigate things or check items in their inventory, and the developers took care to make sure that this was all voiced, which I found pretty impressive. While some of the dialogue didn't always match the text to the point that entire lines were different.
Yeah. In this department, nothing can be done without forms these days. You can't even get a pencil sharpener without written authorisation. By the time you got the bloody forms filled in, they're out of date.
You still got the general idea anyway, and it wasn't something that affected the enjoyment of the game. However, that's all I have for the good, so let's look at what didn't work so well in The Bad. The game's tone is all over the place, and it kind of ruins Detective Halligan's character for me, especially considering that you'll be playing as him for a majority of the game. Despite being a detective of Scotland Yard, people don't have a very high opinion of Halligan, and it shows with the Chief Inspector chewing him out and even feeling reluctant to put Halligan on the case as his antics have caused issues with Scotland Yard. Immediately after leaving the Chief's office, Halligan can then go and operate a photocopy machine and use it to comically print out copies of his face. Even Detective Lowry, while not liked by the Chief either, doesn't hold a lot of respect for Halligan. Some of the things Halligan can say to people can be pretty rude too, which makes me struggle to like him as a character. Admittedly, that's just my opinion, and some of the things Halligan gets up to can be quite funny, especially given that he sometimes has to do these things in order to solve a problem he's up against. In saying that, the game does have its serious moments, and while I'm not against lighthearted content, the tonal shifts and what you can expect from Halligan can make a completely serious scene just seem weird and out of place because you're half expecting a joke to come from somewhere. I do like a good puzzle, but I found that some of the puzzles in this game were pretty abstract, and some solutions or even story progression won't be available unless you talk to the same character multiple times, in order to exhaust all of your dialogue options. A good example of this is when Halligan goes offshore to a village to find an amulet. In order to find said amulet, Halligan has to talk to a couple of people in the village, explore and interact with parts of the ruins nearby, go back to Arthur Blake and talk to him, and then exhaust more dialogue options for a cat to appear in the village. Then you have to figure out where you need to stand in order to trigger the cat moving into the right spot so that you can use the right item on it, so you can use the cat to get some more items that you need to ultimately destroy a mausoleum. There's a lot of trial and error involved, and going through each and every dialogue option just to progress can really wear you down. It is worth investigating and picking up everything you can, because even the most irrelevant thing that you can pick up may be the solution to Halligan's biggest problem at the time. It's just some of these solutions were very random and doesn't make a lot of sense. Thankfully, the game is very generous in allowing you to experiment and figuring out what to do using trial and error, and there's only one part of the game where your actions can lead to the game ending prematurely and getting a bad ending, and even then it's a pretty small part of the game. The game wasn't complete without its share of bugs too. I'm unsure if these would be present had the game been played on original hardware running the appropriate version of Windows, or if it's the porting of the game for GOG and Steam that's caused it, but there's a visual bug where Detective Lowry is floating above his chair. Other visual bugs include Melanie Turner or duplicates of her randomly popping up in places, including one instance where you're even playing as her. The village and ruins were labelled on the map in, I believe, German for some reason, and late into the game, which I won't show for spoiler reasons, Melanie is dragged in, and while she's supposed to be upright, she's lying on the ground for some reason. These bugs were harmless and even funny at times, but there was enough of them for me to notice and point them out. The game's lack of title screen also irks me too. When you start up the game, it either immediately plays the introduction video of the game and throws you right into it, or when you save and exit, the game will immediately start up right where you exited. While it certainly can save you some time, it just feels a little jarring. With that though, I've complained enough, so let's wrap things up with the opinion. The Mystery of the Druids isn't by all means a terrible game. It's not a great game either, and at the end of the day it's a pretty solid first game from House of Tales back in 2001. I thought the story was mostly fine, and I think the game's voice acting was pretty good. However, it is offset by the tone being all over the place, the abstract puzzles and their solutions, and to a lesser extent, visual bugs. The game is pretty short, and if you know what you're doing you could have it beat in a day. I only came across one game-breaking bug throughout my time with the GOG version of the game, and it never happened again, so it wasn't worth complaining about. If you've seen the memes of the druid's face and you want to see what the game is like, then you can pick it up for pretty cheap from GOG or Steam. If you're curious or interested about the game, by all means give it a go. But just be prepared for a reasonably average leaning towards underwhelming experience. So with that, it's time for my rating. I would give The Mystery of the Druids... No, not the druid's face, that's making it too easy. Let's go with Stonehenge out of 10. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the next Infinite Backlog review. If you enjoyed today's review, feel free to check out some of our other videos and subscribe for more. You can also follow us on Twitter, Instagram and our Facebook page. Once again, thank you for watching.